What's up guys, it's Cam coming at you from the 2-6. Welcome back to CFR. Well, we're right amongst getting ready to kick off Memorial Day weekend. And here in the United States, it's got a dual purpose. Memorial Day weekend is the last Monday of May, and it's used as kind of a kickoff for summertime. And people, start barbecuing, cooking out, going to the beach, hanging out by the pool. But we also observe the lives that have been lost to protect this country. And us being here in Fayetteville, North Carolina, right next door to Fort Bragg, which is the largest military installation in the United States, is actually where 2-6 was originated from. Back in the Vietnam era, the 26th Infantry was stationed and rotated in and out of Fort Bragg, bringing soldiers back and forth from Vietnam. So that's how we were named Vietnam, the 2-6, so on and so forth. So that's a little bit about us. So Memorial Day, military, all that is very close and near and dear to many people here in this town, and we're all connected to the military somehow, whether it's through trade, family, or whatever. So a lot of us like to get together and celebrate this holiday for numerous reasons, and as I said, to kick off summer. So what I've got is 5 of my go-to fragrances for summer. Stay tuned. So the 5 fragrances I have picked are ones that are just like, for me, like these are the ones that I'll be rocking. Yeah, there's plenty others I will be, but when I spray these on, they make me fully think of summer, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts if they're not summer fragrances. The first fragrance I picked is actually a discontinued fragrance, but it's still not that hard to get if you look. It is Love the Way You Taste from Killian. This was part of the Miami Vice edition. There was a set that had the red, and this one has the green. Now, this one is green for a reason. It's kind of a greenish fragrance, but it also has some bright citrus notes of lemon on the top, but it also has some mint, magnolia, and as it dries down, you can really start picking up on the vetiver. And the vetiver in here is like really super clean. This is one of the more well done green fragrances. It doesn't have amazing performance or anything, but there's something about this that definitely makes you feel relaxed, like just hanging out at the beach, sipping on a mojito, because actually that's what this is supposed to emulate, is like a mojito. It's really clean, fresh, inviting, relaxing. Think poolside, sipping on a mojito next to a beautiful tanned woman in a white bikini. Yep, I can definitely get that vibe off of this, but this is a very well put together, fresh and green fragrance that has one of the most, like clean vetiver notes that you'll ever come across on the dry down. Next fragrance up actually was a little too feminine for me to start off with, but I did have a different formulation. I am talking about Tom Ford Eau de Celle Blanc. The first one I had was actually the Celle Blanc. Now, the Eau de Celle Blanc is actually a little more masculine. There's nothing hyper masculine about this. Okay, I don't know if you guys have smelled this fragrance or not, but it definitely is extremely unisex, but it does work on men if they're comfortable in their own skin, confident people, and don't mind, like the smell of suntan lotion, because that's kind of what I get. Now, it is bright, it is crisp, that's, it's basically just citruses and florals in here, but there's something in here that just really kind of reminds me of like suntan oil or suntan lotion, but like more of like an expensive, high-end luxury or whatever. But this is really fresh. It's almost even got like a salty vibe on it as it dries down. What you would get, would like think of like being in white sand, the salt air, especially like down in Cancun, Mexico. The salt is really thick in the water down there. The salt in the air is really thick. So that's what I think about when I wear this, because you're gonna get like the beachy air, this thick with salt, and of course, that suntan lotion, everything. This is definitely like a summer vacation in a bottle. Very unique fragrance, especially for like a man to wear, but don't be disheartened by what I'm telling you, because wearing this in the summertime is just absolutely perfect, but it does smell really good on a woman as well. As I said, completely unisex, but can be pulled off by the right man. One thing that I really look forward to this time of year is, like the blueberries coming off the trees, the figs, strawberries, all these different crops of fruits especially. Now that has nothing to do with this next fragrance other than the fact that it's real juicy and fruity and some other things as well. It is Pacific Lime from Atelier Cologne. This fragrance is just so good. Now if you read the notes on this, of course the first thing you're going to draw your conclusion to is that it's Virgin Island water, because this one has lemon, lime, coconut, but it also has some mint, some eucalyptus. So when you think of like aromatherapy, mint and eucalyptus is used all the time, and then when you think coconut you think creamy. Not in this fragrance. This one's kind of a juicy and bright fragrance. The coconut in here is more like, I guess, maybe coconut water. So I don't know if you guys have ever drinking or drank, or however you guys want to say, sip on some coconut water. That's what I get from this. There's nothing, creamy or thick or like a real pronounced coconut note in here at all. As a matter of fact, if anything, it's probably very faint in the background. You are going to pick up primarily on the, the citruses, that lemon or lime, and of course you're going to get a little bit of that eucalyptus and mint in here, primarily more mint than eucalyptus, but a very well put together fragrance. Smells just exactly what you see in the summertime. People eating watermelons and strawberries and just nice, juicy, abundant fruits with those really bright citruses on top. This is an absolute beautiful fragrance that I love to wear during the summertime. Yeah, this is really good. Kind of top shelf. Now the performance is not going to be like knock your socks off or anything, but in the summertime I don't want to be, when your body's cranking that heat up and really wafting off all these fragrances off of you. I don't mind wearing certain fragrances, but if they're like too thick, they get a little too cloying. I'm just like kind of getting nauseated or whatever. If you just want something bright, fresh, clean, crisp, and juicy, you definitely need to put your nose on Pacific Lime if you haven't. My next fragrance is one that I have really grown fond of here in the past, from last summer to this summer, and it is beastly, really beastly, but not to the point to where it's going to choke you out. And I am talking about Beach Giza's Coco Moon, and this is actually now available in the 50 ml. The last time I showed this to you guys, it was in the 15 ml. This is actually batch number 5, and every time that Ryan Hunt, the perfumer and owner of Beach Giza, puts a batch of Coco Moon together, it just goes completely gangbusters. So if you get a chance to get a 15 ml or a 50 ml, yeah, you might want to do that. Now again, I mentioned how summertime you don't want to choke people out. This is a very strong fragrance, but it is not to the point to where it's going to annoy anyone. If anything, it's just going to get a lot of performance, like from early in the morning until late in the evening. Especially if you've got it on your clothes, you'll smell that on the next day. Some of the notes in this are fresh pineapple, you've got some bergamot in here, you also have some coconut, some vanilla, and you also have some florals like jasmine in here and some cedarwood. Just a really well put together fragrance. It's going to last all day long, even if you're sweating profusely or if you're just laying in a hammock with the breeze blowing on you. Somebody's gonna catch wafts of that and pay you a compliment. Every time I wear this fragrance, it does get people's attention. I was wearing this the other day. It was like early in the morning. I might have had this on, I don't know, maybe 20-30 minutes. I think I like rounded up like 4 or 5 compliments, but there was this one dude that came up to me. He drives a truck, so he fills his truck up with diesel fuel at my family's business, and he's like, dude, what are you wearing? That's like so unique. So I told him where he could get it and everything, and he checked. He said, man, they're sold out. I was like, yeah, that's the thing. So if you see this somewhere, yes, I recommend sampling it, but if that sounds like something in your wheelhouse or something that you would like to wear, especially with the notes in here. So okay, pineapple, no, it's not like a Ventus. Yes, it has bergamot. No, it's not like a Ventus at all. It's definitely like walking to the beat of its own drum. Extremely unique, extremely compliment garnering for sure. Beautiful fragrance that will last all day and screams like beach vacation. Almost has like a little suntan oil vibe going on with this fragrance as well. I love this one. Last fragrance up, and definitely not least, is one of my all-time favorite fragrances, and I finally got it close to the beginning of this year, is Falling Into the Sea from Imaginary Authors. Now, Imaginary Authors is one of my absolute favorite indie brands. Josh Meyer is so creative in his fragrance making. Each fragrance matches, stories. Everything about these fragrances are unique. You will not smell two fragrances that smell the same at all. But while we're talking about this one actually has some lemon, some bergamot, tropical flowers, and then the imaginary note of warm sand. I don't know if you're familiar with Imaginary Authors or not, but they always have an imaginary note that is supposed to really invoke a place, a feeling, a special time, whatever. So, just warm sand. So yeah, this is one where you're going to be laying by the beach, listening to the waves crash, the seagulls, the wind blowing, which actually our beaches are opening up this weekend. So I know a lot of people here in North Carolina, South Carolina, different places here, around the South are starting to open up. I've heard that Tennessee is opening up as well. So I know a lot of people who've been cooped up for quite some time are really anxious to get out. Of course, do that with caution, but hey, if you can get out and about, especially, if you could pick something like this up before you go out, this is one that I could probably maybe, leave some of my other fragrances at home and take this one with me. This one has excellent projection, excellent performance, especially when you're talking about a fresh and bright, crisp, cheery summertime fragrance. A lot of times they do fall short a little bit, but Falling Into the Sea does anything but fall short. Now, of course, depending on your skin, different people, dry skin, regular skin, oily skin. Like for me, I have very oily skin, so I do hold fragrance very well. I was absolutely astonished at the performance and projection off of my skin with this fragrance. I do get between 10 to 12 hours of performance on this. Just depend on how heavy I might wind up sweating. Just depends on if I'm directly in the sun playing volleyball or mowing the grass or something, because I love this so much. This is one that I would actually even spray on when I'm mowing the grass or hanging out by the pool. So whether you guys are stuck at home again this weekend watching Netflix, hanging out, watching YouTube, or if you're actually able to go out and, to a cookout or cook out yourself, hanging out with friends, whatever the case may be, please stay safe, take care of yourselves. Happy Memorial Day. Until next time, we'll see you on Carolina Fragrance Reviews.